Hello, my name is Tom, and welcome to this first introductory devlog. Today I'm going to be introducing the first project that I'm working on. It is a VR survival game set in a medieval fantasy world of my own design, with heavy inspirations from other pop culture fantasy universes, I suppose. Yeah, so I'm going to introduce the project with sort of a bit of a backstory. And the backstory is I was working another job when the Steam VR first came out. So after having tried VR once, I think, I went and bought a Vive because I wanted to make some, and I watched a couple of tutorials and I just got to work. And it was very motivating because at that time I wasn't very comfortable with the animation side of things. So it was so nice that you didn't have to animate the first person character. And my more rudimentary animation skills could be used for things that were further away or less significant. Anyway, enough about that. So I was working the job and I didn't have much time for it, but I managed to cobble together a prototype of a survival game. And this was back when Steam had you had to go for an approval process. This was back when Greenlight was still a thing to get noticed by Steam. But for VR, there was a special thing where you could there was the one thing you could apply for directly because they wanted to push the platform, I suppose. So I made a demo. I sent it there and everything looked promising, and they were like, yep, here's the link, you can sign up for Steam, or the back end of it, and set it up so you can start having testers do it and use it and whatnot. I never got around to starting a company. You have to have a company that you can't change that easily to register a product on there and all this. So I just put it on the back burner and things just happens as they do in life, or several years passed before I had time for this again. And by that time, the technology had progressed so much. So when I finally quit that old job and started working on this again, I immediately wanted to update it because my skills had increased and whatnot. And then it just turned out that all the underlying systems had been updated in turn with engine updates and developers giving feedback over the years and new systems. So I remade it a second time almost, and then new systems came out again. And then I remade it sort of a third time, and this time I think I'm gonna stick with it because I've done a lot of custom stuff ish. So I'm gonna stick with this base that I'm comfortable with now. I'm gonna use it on other VR projects in the future, I think, unless something extremely revolutionary happens. So we'll see. But hopefully this is it. This is the base I'm working on. So enough about the backstory. So I had this old demo where it was, I would not call it feature complete, but it was sort of a feature complete minimum viable product ish. I had it connected to Steamworks. I had it, you start in a menu, you select a mission, you go on that mission, you arm yourself, you start the mission, you either succeed or fail that mission, and that basic cycle loop. I mean, it was missing a lot of features, but it also had a bunch of features. Some inherent just because it's VR, where you could shove people or pick things up and all this sort of stuff, but also more complex systems like bows and whatnot. I guess it's not that complex these days, but anyway. Yeah, so it had all of that. And I was thinking, I'll start devlogging when I'm up to the same level as before. And while I'm not up to the same level in terms of features, there's a bunch of things that I've done this time around that I never did the first time around because, it's fun, or I felt like it, or I wanted to learn something new. So, yeah, I kept putting it off. There's like always one more thing I have to do before I can do the first devlog. And then I thought, you know what? If I wait until it's done, then it's not really a devlog. It's just a announcement thing. Hey, the game is done, guys. A devlog is a development log. If I'm not logging anything, then I'm not doing it right, right? So here it is. So I guess you could break it up into parts. The first part of the devlog series will be bringing it up to parity with the older stuff plus a little more, and then once I'm at that stage, let's call it the minimum viable product again, the MVP. After that, it's gonna be depends on the reception, I suppose, what stage happens next, but obviously there's a bunch of steps. There's way more content, more features, usability upgrades, polish, there's optimization. I'm probably going to do it in chunks, like here's a big chunk of content and no new features, and here's some new features and then some new content again, and then whoa, all of a sudden we need to optimize. So it'll probably happen in chunks, and obviously, or I don't know if you don't know it yet because I'm talking, but there's also currently no audio in the game. While I have a bunch of audio files and stuff picked out for it, I haven't implemented it yet. So there'll also be a big push for that, and implementing music and way more effects and juice and polish and making a game. So this is what this is. I'm actually not sure what I've had running in the background. It's probably a mix of old and new stuff while I've been talking, to show the difference between, well, I guess, first of all, the old stuff wasn't because I was a crappy artist. Well, obviously I'm a better artist now, but the old stuff was mainly focused on just getting stuff working. And back then I also thought I could learn hand-painted textures. It's not me. There's a lot of things I could do, but it's just not me. Anyway, yeah, so I wasn't focused on that. So that's why it looks trash. And also, some of it was from an old mobile game I was working on. So that's why the quality is really poor on some of it. Anyway, enough excuses. Yeah, I probably labeled what was on screen, if it's new or if it's old. I suspect that this first devlog will just be this, where I just talk what I just did, yay, while stuff been running in the background. And then further devlogs will either look at specific systems, stuff that I have done, but I should mention I have been recording stuff while I was working on it prior to this, because I thought, oh, I'll use this for this devlog, but I never did those devlogs. So there's a backlog of them that I have to make, I suppose. So I can go into details about what you're seeing on screen, explaining the gameplay in intricate details, all that sort of stuff. But right now, I just hope if it's interesting to you, you'll follow along and enjoy my journey, while maybe you get more motivated to work on your own projects, because I know that's what happens with me. When I work on my project, I usually watch other people's development logs to get motivated, inspired, or otherwise more engaged, or learn new things. So yeah, take care. I hope this wasn't too rambly. I'll probably, hopefully, be more concise in the future. Yeah. I don't have a catchphrase or anything, so I'll just say, hey, and thanks for watching.